So here I'm sharing a journey of using a single tarot deck for 30 days. And with the help of ChatGPT, I wanted to see if it could really predict my day-to-day life. But why this deck? This isn't any tarot deck. It's got history. It's been with me for over 30 years. But besides that, it was a gift from my late friend Cesar Villanueva, who identified with the full archetype. Cesar was a bit of a trickster, endlessly fascinated by questions about the future. So much so that he'd probably love this experiment. I like to think he's got all the answers now. But before we dive in, let's get two things straight. Confirmation bias and projection. Confirmation bias is when you interpret new information to confirm what you already believe in. It's like seeing only what you want to see in the cards and ignoring the rest. And projection. What is projection? That's when you unknowingly project your own feelings, fears, expectations onto something else, like a tarot reading. These two are key because they can play a big role in interpreting tarot cards. So could this experiment be colored in some way by confirmation bias and projection? Let's find out together. So here's the experiment. The goal of the experiment was simple. Every morning for 30 days in a row, I draw 3 cards and I write down what happened throughout the day. I have it all here on my journal. So I was writing down everything that went on after doing the reading at the end of the day. Could this deck, which has so much personal history, actually provide insights into my everyday life, or would it fall flat? Now, you might wonder, why did I use ChatGPT to help interpret these readings? Why not do it myself? As a skeptic myself, I wanted to have a second perspective, a way to pull myself out from personal bias. Often ChatGPT provided interpretation I hadn't thought of, and this opened up even more possible meanings for each card, expanding the scope of accuracy. But here's where it gets tricky. Is ChatGPT itself projecting my expectations back at me? Could it also be falling into confirmation bias, trying to meet my own expectations, what it thinks I want to hear? After all, it's starting to know me pretty well by now. I've used it quite a bit. So how did it go? The results are fascinating. Let's look at some moments where the cards were incredibly accurate. On several occasions, the cards captured my day's tone perfectly. For example, when the 10 of Swords appeared, I ended up facing setbacks, exhaustion, and frustration. I'm an artist, and as you know, we all go through this. And when Temperance and the Lovers came up on days where balance and choices were key themes, it perfectly aligned with decisions I had to make on balancing priorities between work and family. So, after 30 days of pulling tarot cards, journaling my days, and analyzing everything, I decided to highlight just the first and last days of this experiment. Going through every day's details would be way too long for one video, so I'll just give you a quick summary of the overall results here. Alright, let's dive straight into day 1 of this 30-day tarot experiment. I shuffled the deck, pulled 3 cards, and recorded them. The cards? Well, it was the Tower, the King of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles. Now, keep in mind, I went into this with a good amount of skepticism. I'm not saying tarot can predict the future, but when I look back at my day after pulling those cards, what happened was quite unsettling. Let me break it down. Early in the day, I was driving to Fort Worth from Houston. Out of nowhere, a truck nearly collided with my car. It was one of those split-second moments where you feel everything could come crashing down. That sense of sudden disruption was real, and it shook me up. But the day didn't stop there. Later, I attended a gallery opening where I had a pleasant evening connecting with friends. Then, unexpectedly, an important collector showed up and bought not one, but two of my paintings. Exactly the kind of stability and financial reward the King of Pentacles can represent. Finally, I went to my car to get a gift for this collector. I couldn't find it. I spent a solid 45 minutes searching through the parking lot, exhausted but determined to follow through, like the persistence and patience of the Seven of Pentacles. Call it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe I was projecting. Maybe this is confirmation bias. I don't know. But by the end of the day, I was stunned at how accurately these cards captured the themes, even the emotions I've gone through. Was it just chance? Or could it be that this particular deck, which carries so much personal history, is somehow more in tune with my life? Who knows? As the days went on, the readings became more nuanced. And ChatGPT confirmed the accuracy, sometimes even up to 100% spot on. On the last day, the cards I pulled were Temperance, the Lovers, and the Four of Pentacles. It was a Monday, day filled with distractions and honestly a lot of time wasted. I found myself questioning if this entire 30-day tarot experiment might just be a classic case of confirmation bias. Were these cards really saying anything special, or was I just interpreting them to fit my own story? This thought lingered. And later on in this day, I received some surprisingly good news from a curator of an important museum, and he confirmed that the museum was purchasing one of my works. This news aligned with the stability and security symbolized by the Four of Pentacles and the card of Temperance, which spoke to the need of balance between all the distractions and responsibilities. The final reading, much like the first, was surprisingly accurate in capturing the day's themes, some constructive, some frustrating. It left me with a sense of curiosity. Even if I was skeptical from the start, I had to admit, the cards consistently reflected my day-to-day experiences with more accuracy and clarity than I expected initially. Not every single day was a perfect match, of course, but enough days were close enough to keep me engaged and keep questioning. In the end, here's what I found. Tarot seems to work better for reflecting personal themes and energy, overall energy, than making bold, specific predictions. Throughout the 30 days, many readings were in sync and with what I was experiencing, often capturing the tone and themes of the day with surprising clarity. According to ChatGPT's analysis, some days were 100% spot on. But then there were days where the readings didn't quite match up. Sometimes the cards felt a little like they stretched too broadly. While there were connections to my day, they were vague. They weren't big misses, but they didn't make me question whether I was seeing connections that weren't really there. At first, when I did the reading and wrote down how my day went, I was a little skeptical. I was like, this doesn't really match all completely. But when I put the cards, all the data into the ChatGPT, this large language model that can have access to multiple sources and really reinterpret the cards in a more broad sense, wow, I was blown by the possibility that the cards were actually spot on, that maybe I was misreading them, that maybe I was narrowing down the possible definitions of every single card, that maybe there was more possible readings to this than I thought of initially. So let's go week by week. Let's break it down. How accurately did it shape up? And this is, again, according to AI. Oh, and just so you know, I'm using the ChatGPT 01, the preview version, which is the most advanced and way more accurate than, let's say, ChatGPT 4.0, but now they're coming with this latest installment. So this is the best you can get. Recalculating and trying to make an informed assessment based on the daily readings, the average predictive accuracy, week by week. So this is how it goes, and it's surprisingly high. Week number 1, approximately 97.8 accuracy. That's amazing. Week 2, approximately 97.8% accuracy. Again, wow. Week number 3, approximately 94.3 accuracy. That is still very high. Week number 4, approximately 93.7 accuracy. A little lower, but still very high. It's impressive. And then you have week number 5 with a 100% accuracy. Wow. This just blew my mind. Overall, across the 30 days, the average predictive accuracy was about 96.2%. That's higher than I expected, especially given my initial skepticism. The cards often mirrored my daily experiences with uncanny precision. For instance, the repeated appearance of the Seven of Pentacles coincided with ongoing themes of patience and long-term growth in both my personal and professional life. There were some recurring cards just like that one, and they kept showing up, and they were so accurate, spot on with everything that was going on that day. Honestly, that's higher than I expected. For a skeptic, these results are a pleasant surprise, and I consider myself still a skeptic. But now I feel like after doing this experiment and seeing the results, I'm a bit more open to it. Now, you might consider if I tried this on something bigger, like predicting the US elections, and I did. There's a video on it. You can watch that video on YouTube. I did this prediction of the US elections like one day before the US presidential election. But the results were far less accurate. Tarot wasn't able to predict anything concrete for this election, which leads me to think that the tarot might be better suited for personal insight rather than large-scale predictions. So here's where I'm at. The tarot cards, this particular deck, maybe it's the connection I feel with it, that did give me insights I didn't expect. Now, but here's the question. But am I just projecting my own feelings and biases onto the cards? Possibly. Could this entire experiment be an exercise in confirmation bias? The line between genuine insight and interpreting what we want to see is very thin. On one hand, I'm more open to tarot's potential to reflect my day-to-day emotional landscape. On the other hand, I'm still a skeptic about its predictive accuracy, especially on a larger scale. For the everyday result, it seems tarot can provide surprisingly accurate insights. Maybe that's just the result of my own personal connection with this deck. In the end, what do you think? Is this deck genuinely insightful, or is it just a mirror reflecting what I want to project onto it? Am I seeing accuracy where there isn't any? Or could these cards really have something to say? Maybe this experiment showed me that tarot is better at capturing personal energy rather than predicting hard facts. Who knows? But that's where you come in. I invite you to be the judge. Let me know what you think. Is this just confirmation bias, or did these cards really have something to say about my life? Hard to say. Thanks for watching, and stay curious. May the gods, the muses, the angels, the cosmic energies all around you, whatever you want to call these timeless archetypes, be your guides and inspiration. Until next time, peace. Hey, y por cierto, César, si estás viendo allá afuera, espero que te estés riendo. Después de todo, el loco es quien mejor sabe. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, hit that subscribe button, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Also, check out the video on the screen right now for more insights and inspiration. Your support means everything to me and helps this channel grow. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.